listening to That Great Business Show with Connell O'Moran and Jamie Heaslip. ThatGreatBusinessShow.com.
Many businesses hope and believe that world success could be theirs if only they could team up with a world player, a Google, a Microsoft, or a Kerry Foods. But that thought is often just fleeting, because the next thought, naturally, is that those big beasts would just eat up the business and spit out what remained of your world-beating business idea. Now, you don't have to go to Harvard to know that some big businesses, none of those that we've mentioned, of course, Mulud, have been known to adapt or adopt other people's ideas, known more colloquially as nicking an idea. But a very interesting software company seems to have cracked it. Software maker Solgari has successfully teamed up with Microsoft, helping them to make Microsoft products better and giving them wider sector applications. It's a win-win for both sides. So, what's the secret? Solgari CEO John Colgan won't mind me saying that he's been around the block just a few times, heading up some large companies in his time. Welcome to That Great Business Show, John. You've been around the block.
I have a few times.
Tell the world.
Yeah, well, no, I suppose I started life as a programmer in a bank and moved out of there into technology, got interested in how to do things better.
So you did that pretty quickly, did you?
Yeah, I did, yeah. As soon as I finished my degree at their expense. Yeah, I just wanted to see how things could be done better all the time and was in that application space in banking for a long time. So I would have sold companies to Texas Instruments and Level 3 Communications in Denver. And then more locally, kind of small SMS betting company that we sold locally to a group of privates, individuals. So, I've been around the block and kind of worked with and sold to and did earnouts with US companies, big US companies, and kind of know how they operate. So that was a big help to us getting kind of...
That's exactly the point, isn't it? Your CV has informed what you're now doing because you know how they operate.
Did you see the problem in there in terms of kind of a comms?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the key thing is, irrespective of whether you have the experience or not, the key thing is that you must have something they need. There's no charity in this. They don't care. There's no emotion. But if you have something they need, it lights a kind of a torch for them. Then they will use it because it helps them sell more. And we're lucky in that Microsoft currently have really got an open and transparent partner program. I think the culture comes from the top, and I think Satya Nadella has brought a brilliant culture to Microsoft. And he realized that, if you make great engines, people who want engines will come looking for the engine. But someone who wants to buy a car won't give you a call. So he's partnering with other people who'll put the body on and paint it and whatever. And he's relevant in more places, and the revenues are going through the roof by partnering openly.
And what's Solgari doing for them?
So what we do is we saw the opportunity where there's lots of communications channels and even more so now, it's kind of been dictated by the end user, how they want to do business with you. And you either can do it that way or they walk away. There's no loyalty on that side either. So all of the channels were available to them, chat, SMS, instant messaging, social channels, voice, video, and they want to be able to use whatever comes to hand.
And respond immediately.
Immediately, yeah, and switch between those channels and the full flexibility that my 21-year-old, who's a perfect specimen to analyse, David won't mind me saying that, when it comes to usage, has zero tolerance. You either respond to me how I do want to do business with you at that moment in time, and it might change in 5 minutes, or I walk.
Like, you're not putting us on hold here for, God, I remember being on a call, I won't mention the company, they'll be after us, for 15 minutes, I think, on hold. And then it asks you to select the button after that. And you're kind of that's insane now.
No, absolutely.
It's just changed. Amazon changed the game with on demand in terms of habits. So I'm guessing this is
it. And so what we have is we've got all the channels integrated, so you can change between them. But we have all the functionality. And I think this was kind of the secret when we stood back and looked at really where has it gone wrong before. We've got all the functionality for large volumes. So we can do the automatic contact distribution to the right place in the company to get them, increase your chances of getting a good answer, a good outcome from the customer's point of view. And because we're in the cloud, we can bring you across multiple offices and bring your resource pool into play. So when you're slack in one place and you're busy in another, that's going to come into play.
So 24/7.
24/7, and also not having to hire locally in one office when you're going to have a busy period. You know, you've got a less busy period in another office. They're all on the same service now. So you can put the contact through whatever way it comes, a chat or an SMS or a call, through to the place that isn't busy, pop the screen with them, and they can have an intelligent dialogue that will get the customer what they want, which is resolution or the purchase done in one
I have a question. I know you're teeing up for one, right? You go first.
Because I think it's important that from what John is saying there, that we understand that it's not just Microsoft. If you want to name that company that you mentioned to me in the west of Ireland that you're doing that for, an insurance company.
And you know, vital to us to go to Microsoft was having proof. And so a few years back, you know, people like Enda McCrone in Hastings Insurance, you know, Don Ryan and Morgan McKinley Recruitment in Cork, who are an international recruitment company based out of Cork, Patrick Burke, Sherry Fitzgerald Lettings, had the foresight to see and the vision to see that it's going to the cloud. And they were early adopters of Solgari. And through them, we were able to show all of the efficiencies they were getting, the customer service excellence that they were achieving, and the fact that this allowed much more stickiness. You know, people, if they have a good experience, they'll come back and you'll become the brand, the go-to brand. And so, making it easy for people to work, and also then providing functionality like accelerators for them, where you have outbound dialers or you can send bulk text messages. So Hastings Insurance in the west of Ireland, a fantastic company, will send out bulk reminders on SMS to their customers to say, you know, your renewal date for your, you know, insurance.
And does this all integrate with like a HubSpot or a Salesforce, or do you see them as competition?
No, and that's we integrate with those CRMs, those customer relationship management, and we put a lot of effort into integrating with Dynamics 365, which is Microsoft's.
Yep.
And so it was by lighting that up and being able to do things with that even Microsoft's own communications channels weren't able to do, that got their interest for us.
So can I bring it right back to how I started this entire interview by saying, you go to Microsoft, why wouldn't Microsoft just look under the hood and just say, that'll do very nicely things, and I'll take it?
Yeah, and
maybe
you know,
that's the plan, is it?
Well, you know, that could be their plan. I don't think it is, but, you know, they're developing all the time. So, you know, we can't stand still. Everybody's is advancing their product set and they've got their own product roadmaps. But I think, you know, we stole a march because we stood back and we took the benefit of all of our experiences, and we built this integrated suite that had, as I said, all the functionality of telephony, contact center, and compliance, recording, archiving and retrieval, reporting, all of that on top of all of the channels. So it's an integrated piece of technology that has all the data belonging to the client of all their interactions in one place. So the big buzz right now is intelligence, customer intelligence. So if you don't have that environment, you can't be intelligent. If you've bought in from a chat provider and an SMS provider, and you've got a telephone company, and you've got all these channels separated, to jam those together is awkward at best, a big project at worst, and it doesn't work. It's not going to be real time. Whereas with us, in real time, you have everything that's been done sitting in front of you, available to the agent to talk through. Oh, Jamie, I noticed you bought, you know, a 2XL top this time round.
It's very generous.
He's getting fat. I know what you mean.
You know, would you like to buy that in blue and white hoops? You know, whatever.
God, no, never in black rock colours. Don't even try that.
Oh well, it was worth it. So you know, it's about that conversational intelligence that makes it real time, makes it vibrant, and then the customer responds to that because they feel important.
So what would you think is your competitive advantage now? And then how do you see you maintaining that advantage going forward?
Yeah, so our competitive advantage now is that, you know, we are genuinely the only people who have all of the channels and all of the functionality embedded into particularly Microsoft's CRM. Now, we're independent. We can operate independently of Microsoft. We have customers that don't use Microsoft, like Hastings Insurance don't. But because of that, Microsoft are bringing us to more and more what I would call enterprise level customers. So, you know, we're doing the COVID tracing for NHS in Wales with Microsoft. And that's all our channels activity. You know, there's 10 to 20,000 contacts per day being made. escalated if there's a certain response to the condition, etc. So they're bringing all these to us because we can scale and we have all the functionality. And if somebody wanted to add a channel, we can add it at the drop of a hat. It's it's there. I always say that Solgari is there working for you. You just haven't connected to it yet. All we do is configure. We say, who do you want? Where are they? And what services do they want? Do they want all the channels? Do they want to be able to be part of a group that we would route calls or contacts to? It's very, very easy and it's quick to put in place.
How did a very small, I think you're 30 headcount, Irish company get in touch with you? How do you phone up Sati and say, hey, Sati, I've got a solution for you?
Mate, how are you getting on?
I did try that, but I'm still waiting for the call back. But it's about providing the proof, when you start to do certain things and you start promoting. And we went to all the Microsoft shows. There's a lot of hard labor attached to this, and looked at, telling the right people in Microsoft about the successes and how we actually engineered those successes and what it could do for them. And in fact, I've just finished a 4-minute video that's gone to the executives in Microsoft that says how we're key to them expanding in the enterprise level, so that if you want to get in quickly, instead of having to do a big project to bring all these channels in, you can be immediately live and move on to the next project and fan that out and get more seats.
So this is, even if you have, let's say, legacy kind of type of issues versus you're just starting out, it's agnostic to you. You're able to just flick the switch for
absolutely,
these guys.
and it doesn't matter what size. We've got small customers and we've got extremely large customers like the NHS in Wales, and we're live in 45 countries. We're customers live in 45 countries.
From where? Where's the headquarters?
Headquarters here in Dublin. Yeah, we've got a presence in London, and we've got a presence, technology presence in London. We've got a technology presence in Singapore, on data centers. We use hubs that are communications friendly hubs, and it allows us to expand very easily. And
you don't need money.
Well, it's taken about 8.5 million to get us to here. I'm delighted to say very well backed by Enterprise Ireland, and I can't sing their praises highly enough. They've been fantastic supporters and really understood us from the start and put all the supports in place. The rest of it has been, the bulk of it has been from private individuals, most of them Irish individuals who knew me or us from previous history with us. Did
you go to them before you proved the concept, or are they backing the person and your experience? Initially,
we've done about 3 rounds. So initially, the first round was, we've got an idea and we've got a couple of customers that are sort of using it and dabbling, but here's where it could go. So with people who knew us well, that gave us the initial amount, and that got us to the point where we were able to have a few customers and proof of that, and looking to gone a bit international. So had international customers and got a bit of volume into it. So the scaling thing, the international thing, the multiple channel thing, they were all proven at that stage. So we hired the valuation and raised a little bit more. Those people followed on and we got new people in. And the third round now, we're just finishing out a 4 million round, which will close this week.
Oh, congrats.
Yeah. So, and again, it's all privates. And
we thought your pockets looked a little bit heavy.
Yeah.
And the future will do what? I mean, you told me that you don't want to become a 3 million person organisation or anything.
We won't need to. I mean, that's the beauty of the cloud, is that, and I think Ireland is really well positioned, from a cloud perspective. When we put the infrastructure in place here, you can service anywhere in the world. Nobody asks you now where your cloud is based.
It's so true, isn't it?
And do you see it with Brexit, all this stuff going on, the fact that Ireland is, a beachhead for foreign direct investment into Europe? Do you see that as advantageous for you going forward and Irish companies in general?
Definitely. Definitely. And I think, what it does is now, we're the main or English speaking country in the EU. We've got great relationships, obviously, within the EU, but we've got great international relationships. We have good trade relationships historically with Britain. And there's a codependence there that nobody can deny. And Brexit or no Brexit, they're going to have to facilitate businesses on both sides of that divide. to allow them to continue to survive and thrive. And we've got a great opening into the States, the Irish in America, but the history of Irish technology companies in America, we just closed a couple of fairly significant deals in the USA and Canada with Microsoft. And, the acceptance of it and the fact that we're Irish is just brilliant. Yeah.
How lovely. John Colgan, where would anybody find you? Solgari.
Solgari.com, Solgari.com.
And you're open for business, I hear.
We're open for business 24/7, yeah.
Thanks, John, very much for joining us.